Okay, I'm going to go over test 3, which is on chapter 3. So when you're ready, click on test 3. Okay, you have 1 attempt in 3 hours. So then when you're ready, you'll click on attempt quiz now, start attempt. The first section, cierto or falso, you're an academic advisor at your university, and 3 new students have been added to your list of advisees for next semester. To get to know them better, listen to the paragraph describing the 3 students and their class schedules, then decide whether each of the following statements is cierto or falso. I think I'm going to go through and add an A or a B in front of cierto or falso. I think it just makes it easier. It avoids people misspelling it. But you'll listen to this paragraph, and then it says, like, Carlos, Marcela, y Teresa estudian en Guadalajara. If after you've listened to this paragraph that's true, you would put an A here. If it's false, you're going to put a B. Okay. The next section says que materia, match each academic subject with the associated concept, person, or thing. So if a mapa you would find in la clase de informática, you would write an A. If you would find it in la clase de arte, you would write a B. So just match the concept, person, or thing with the class. Las matemáticas, choose the phrase that accurately expresses each math problem. So you have a math problem written out here. If A is how you would say those words or write out those words in written form, you would write an A. If it's B, you would write a B, and so on and so forth. So just find the written form that matches the numerical expression that you see for each one of those. Here, you're kind of working the reverse way. Que número es your work in the check processing department of a Mexican bank. I'm sorry, you work in the check processing department of a Mexican bank. Part of your job is to input digits into a computer program that represent the numbers written out on a check. For each blank, write out in digits the number given. So 503, you would write whatever number that is. Maybe it's, 732. So you will just write the digits that represent the written form this time. Okay? Then down here it says los adjetivos posesivos. Your Spanish tutor wrote a number of sentences to quiz you on correct usage of the possessive adjectives. Choose the possessive adjective that accurately completes each sentence. So hoy no tengo blank libros para la clase. Would it be mi, mis, nuestra, su? So if you think it's me, you'd write an A. If you think it's mis, you'd write a B. If it's nuestra, you'd write a C. If it's su, you'd write a D. Whoops, you'd write a D. And that's how you do this activity. Then down here, de quién es, this time you're going to be writing the possessive adjective. So it says complete each sentence with the correct possessive adjective. The possessor will be the same as the subject of the sentence. So like if it's we have, then it would be like we have our class at 10 in the morning, or I am in my history class. So you're looking for the subject, whoever the subject is of the sentence, that's also who is the person who owns the item, and you'll want to make those match. So you'll be writing in the possessive adjectives here, and make sure they agree with the nouns that they describe, the thing that the person is possessing. If that which you're possessing is plural, then your possessive adjective should also be plural, should have an S. Situaciones, listen to each of the following situations, then choose the expression with tener that best corresponds to it. So this, if you play this, it's going to describe a situation, and if it's talking about somebody being in, Mexico in the middle of summer, then you might say, ellas tienen calor. So you'll listen to the description of what's going on, and then you'll pick the tener expression that would best describe how these people feel in those situations. Here, you're still dealing with your tener expressions. So it says, read each sentence carefully, then use the same subject and an expression with tener to complete the situation. So in the first blank, you're going to have tener, and you need to conjugate it for who it is that feels this way, and then you need to pick the word that would complete the tener expression. Because remember, we had like tener hambre, tener sed, tener frío, tener miedo. So one of these words will go in the second blank, and tener goes in the first one, but you need to conjugate it to reflect who it is that's hungry or sleepy, etc. Okay, en qué parte de la universidad, complete each of the sentences with the most logical phrase. So this describes what you're doing, and this is the place where it would be happening. So match the place with what the person is doing. Here, ¿dónde está? Your classmate wants to see how well you know the location of buildings on the university campus. Based on the picture below, decide whether the following statements are cierto or falso. Again, I'm going to put an A and B in front. So if la biblioteca Fuentes está al lado de la librería, if that's true, you're going to put an A. If it's false, you're going to put a B. And you're going to be right here you're right here facing the campus. So like the museum is to the right of the observatory and the School of Science is to the left. So that's how you're oriented. Like you're right here facing forward. Okay. So you will decide whether these statements are true or false based upon what you see in the picture. Okay, then down here it says, ¿A dónde vamos y qué hacemos? Your friend has asked you a number of questions. Answer him by matching each question to its logical answer. So these are the questions you're asked, and here's your answers. So if someone says, ¿Quién va a la fiesta de Raúl? And you think the answer is aprendan álgebra y cálculo, you'd put an A right there, okay? And so that's how you do this activity. 12, completamos las frases. Get to know Jose Luis, a new international student at your university, by completing the paragraph with the appropriate forms of ir or hacer. So you'll go through the paragraph, decide whether the situation requires ir or hacer, and then you'll change the spelling to match who it is that's doing the going or the doing or the making. Frases lógicas. Last night you wrote some great practice sentences for Spanish, but your mischievous little brother thought it'd be funny to cut off the last part of each sentence. So these are the first part of your sentence. You got to match it to the second part. So if you think, antes de un examen a la clase de cálculo, los estudiantes estamos enfermos, then you would put an A right here. Ser o estar. Complete the following sentences with the correct form of ser, estar, or I. So you're deciding if the situation needs ser, estar, or I. And then I, you leave alone, but ser and estar, you need to change the spelling of it to reflect who it is or what it is that's plastic or sick, etc. Here, ¿Cuánto sabe usted? Complete each of the following sentences with the most logical word or phrase from the word bank. You may use each option only once. I think, again, what I might do is put an A, B, C in front of here, and you can just put A, B, C in the blanks below. Then here, las actividades y los edificios. Complete each sentence with the most logical word. So basically, again, it's an activity that you're doing on campus, and then there's places. So where would you be looking at paintings and sculptures, etc.? Okay, and then when you're done, hit finish attempt, and that is how you would complete test 3.